So for every time you create a chart, we always have three controls over the display of that chart. So charts are always being created from the visualization pane. So first you select the type of chart you want, then you add in fields that is going to populate that chart. Then if you like, you can change the display of what you currently see, and you have three options for doing that. So first you must make sure your chart is selected. Then you come back to the visualization pane and you have these three options to change the display of what you see or how things are being displayed. So we have three options. The first one is fields, the second one is formats, and the third one is analytics. So fields are the same thing with column headers. So fields are a list of all your columns like this that you can see from the fields pane. So anytime you would like to change the behavior of a particular column that you have brought into your chart, you get to do that from the fields pane. And you always do that when you click on the drop down beside that field. What really makes sense where you get to use your fields pane settings mostly is on the values. So for example, if I click on the drop down beside these sales here, you will see that it tells me that this is doing a summation. So now I have my total sales by month and year. So if I don't want total sales and I want something like an average sales, this is where I get to choose what I want to do. Okay, so that's all about using your field settings. Now the second settings is the format settings. So format settings for controlling the elements of a chart. So what are elements of a chart? An element of a chart is basically anything that you can see on that chart. Anything that is visible to you on the chart is an element of that chart. Okay, so in this case, if we take a list of elements we can see, I can see a title, sales by month and year. I can see a legend that is telling me which of the lines is 2014, the color of the line that is 2014, the color of the line that is 15, 16 and 17. That is my legend. I can see something here on the vertical axis with numbers. This is my y-axis and it contains sales. I can see something on my horizontal axis that has labels of months. I can also see the lines as well. I can see a grid line here. All of these are all chart elements. So anytime you like to change something about a chart element, for example, you might want to change the color of the title, you might want to change the size of the title, you might want to change the color or size of the label or stuff like that. You do that from the format control. So I'm going to click on format control here, and I would like to increase the size of my x-axis a little bit. I'll come to x-axis, expand x-axis, and I'm going to increase the text size to 10. Then I want to go scroll down to where I have the title. So this is obvious that it is month label, so I don't need this description here for months. I'm just going to put off the title for the x-axis. Then I'll go over to y-axis and repeat something similar. So come to y-axis, increase the text size to 10, put off the title. Then I'm going to come back and collapse this y-axis to give me more visual real estate space. Then I'll come to the legend and I want to increase the size of the legend a little bit so it is clearer. So I'm going to take this to 12 and I'm going to go down to title. So I'll go look for title at the bottom of the page. So title here. And what I want to do for title is change the color. I'm going to use a reddish color here. And change the text size also. Change it from 15. I'm going to put this at 16. So that's how you change controls for chart elements. So there are so many controls on each of the elements that you can alter. Then we have a third edit settings for analytics. If I come to the analytics here, so any chart that has analytic features, you always have an option on this analytics button. For example, line chart has a lot of analytics features. When you do a line chart that doesn't have multiple lines like this, we'll do that later on. You get to see an option whereby you can forecast future values. But in this case, what will make sense for us to do in terms of analytics is to add a line that shows us what the average sales is, so we can compare which month and which years have higher than the average or lower than the average. So I'm going to come back here to my visualizations pane. Under my analytics button here, I will expand average and I will click add. So add an average line. So now you can see the average line, and you can easily see which months are always doing below average. So January, February, for sure, you will always sell below your average sales. Then March, you just barely do between below average, and a little bit above the average, but you're always sure of doing above average sales between November and December, as well as September.